Photos will be taken and this meeting will be recorded during the event. The photos will be posted on the District 27 social media resources. Do you consent and authorize Toastmasters International to copyright, use, and publish any of the images in any format taken for this event? If you do not, you have the option to keep your cameras off during the course of the meeting. You do not have to turn them on. At some point, we may just request you to turn them on for an activity. But if you do not want your image used in any way, please feel free to keep your camera off. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we are going to move along into the meat and bones of our meeting. I want to give you a brief overview of Toastmasters International. Toastmasters International is, as the name states, an international organization. There are over 15,000 clubs around the world. All of the clubs are unique and different, but they still hold to basic Toastmasters standards and the way that the club is organized and the way that meetings flow. But they're all unique. They all have their own club culture. They all have their own different focus. They all are diverse. They have a diverse demographic of members, and they're all committed to upholding Toastmasters International's standard of quality and leadership and public speaking excellence. So with that said, we are going to go through a demonstration of the meeting. Now, for every Toastmasters Club meeting, there are meeting roles that are assigned to members of the club, and sometimes visitors can take on meeting roles as well. The first or the most important meeting role is that of Toastmaster of the Day. That's basically the person who will serve as the master of ceremonies for the club meeting, and they will introduce the speakers and everyone else that has a meeting role for the meeting. So I am going to take over as Toastmaster of the Day for the purpose of this meeting. So I will be your mistress of ceremonies, and you will see me coordinate the meeting and introduce everyone as we move along. The second role I will be explaining will be the role of the grammarian. The grammarian, or R counter, sometimes it's two separate people holding that role. It may be one person, would be the person that sits back as a recorder throughout the meeting, or a scribe, if that is comparable, if that makes more sense. They are basically in the background, carefully listening to everyone that speaks to record any use of filler words, ahs, any improper use of grammar. And they write that down for each member that they notice may have areas that they need to work on. At the conclusion of the meeting, the grammarian gives a report so that everyone in attendance that spoke will get some type of constructive, gentle feedback on places where they may have used improper grammar, they may have relied on clutch words, pauses, things that they can do to improve the next time that they have the floor to speak in a Toastmasters meeting. Then there comes the timer. The timer has the most important role in the meeting, at least I believe, because everything that we do in Toastmasters International in terms of a meeting needs to be timed. Toastmasters teaches us time management as well as leadership skills and public speaking skills. So every speech that we give, whether it's just a simple evaluation of another speaker, or we are the featured speaker, or even the impromptu table topic session, is carefully timed, and there is a timing clock or color timing mechanism to alert speakers where they are in their speech and when they may want to wrap that up. So, for example, a standard Toastmaster speech is between 5 to 7 minutes long. At 5 minutes, you will see the green light appear behind the timer. Madam Timer, thank you. At 6 minutes, you would see a yellow light appear behind the timer. And at 7 minutes, you will see a red light appear behind the timer. Now, when the timer gets to the red light, hopefully the speaker is absolutely wrapping things up. However, the speaker does have a 30-second buffer to wrap things up. After 30 seconds, if we were in a contest setting, it would mean that the speaker would be disqualified. So it is always good practice when the speaker sees the yellow to start wrapping things up at that point. So we've gone over the Toastmaster of the day, we've gone over the grammarian, we've gone over the timer. We also have another very important team member, and that is the table topics master. The table topics master is the person that coordinates our impromptu speaking portion of the meeting. He or she is the person that selects the table topics and actually chooses folks from the audience or in the meeting to respond to the table topics questions. Table topics are 2-minute impromptu speaking opportunities for anyone that is attending a Toastmasters meeting to participate in. You do not have to have any experience speaking. It is strictly impromptu. It does not have to follow a certain rhyme nor reason. The only goal is to, of course, stick to the timing. So for table topics, the goal is to speak for at least 60 seconds till you see the green light. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, you would see the yellow, and at 2 minutes, you would see the red. And it's really fun. And again, any of you are absolutely welcome to participate in table topics. And since one of our team members has logged in, I am actually going to turn my table topics duties over to Jenny Gensler-White since she is here. Thank you, Jenny. We see that you've logged on. So I actually will not be doing table topics. Jenny Gensler-White will be doing table topics. Thank you, Jenny. So we've gone over the Toastmaster of the day. We've gone over the grammarian. We've gone over the timer. We've gone over the table topics master. Last but not least, we have our general evaluator, which is the role that I will be filling today. The general evaluator is the person that the Toastmaster of the day would hand the meeting off to towards the end. And they are the person, this is the person that would give an overall evaluation of how the entire meeting went. And then they are supported by their team, which consists of the timer and the grammarian and the speech evaluators. And they will give their respective reports. And then at the very end, the general evaluator will give an overall summary of how he or she felt the meeting went. One more important role that we don't want to miss, every speaker will have a speech evaluator. Now, there's not an evaluator for table topics normally, but every formal speaker, and Sanka is our speaker today, he will be evaluated by his speech evaluator. And I believe Sanka's evaluator is Ms. Beverly Byam Hercules, Distinguished Toastmaster, and she will be a part of my evaluation team as well. So that pretty much covers the roles that you will see in almost any Toastmaster meeting. No matter which meeting you attend anywhere in the world, you will always see that format in a Toastmasters meeting. So right now we're going to go over the word of the day. And the goal of the word of the day is, once the grammarian explains it to us, our goal is to try to use the word of the day as many times as possible during the course of the meeting. And the grammarian will be keeping count of who used the word of the day and how many times they used it. And she will also include that in her report. I believe Regina Curry is our grammarian. So Regina, did you want to give us the word of the day and its definition?
Yes, I will do that.
Thank you.
The word of the day is garden. Garden. The noun definition is a small piece of ground used to grow vegetables, fruit, herbs, or flowers. To use it in a sentence, they brought us tomatoes from their garden.
Thank you, Regina. So we've all heard the word of the day. So what you will see, so that you're not alarmed, we're not crazy, we're not, just out making outbursts. When someone uses the word of the day, we try to congratulate them and encourage them. So you will see people doing this. You will see people have the applause emoji. We really are excited when anyone uses the word of the day. So we encourage all of you as well, if you end up doing a table topic or speaking at any part of this meeting, we challenge you to try to incorporate the word garden into your speeches and into your statements. So without further ado, we are going to go into the public professional speaking portion of our meeting. And we have one prepared speech for you today by Sanka Pereira. And Sanka is someone that got very close to Toastmasters International World Championship of Public Speaking. He is an excellent speaking, par excellence. I mean, he is one of our best speakers in District 27. So you all are in for a treat today. And Sanka, I'm so glad that you were able to be with us. The title of Sanka's speech is called The Layup, and it is a 5 to 7 minute speech. At this time, Sanka, you have the floor.
If I may ask, I'd like to share my screen. Would you mind allowing me to share screens?
Absolutely. 1 second. You should be able to share it now.
There you go. You guys should be able to see my screen. It should be a blank screen. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see that? All right. So a few weeks ago, my best friend asked me to come to a basketball game. He is a basketball player. He's played basketball his whole life, but I've actually never seen him play. So I went to a game. It was a neighborhood game, and I watched a bunch of guys from the age of 35 to 50 play basketball. So as you can imagine, there was nothing very fancy. I didn't see a lot of three-pointers. I didn't see a lot of slam dunks, but I did see my best friend win the game. And he won the game by doing layup after layup after layup. Now, if you don't know the game of basketball, that's okay. What you're seeing in front of you is a layup. It is the move in basketball that gets you as close to the basket as possible. After the game, I asked him and I said, hey, you didn't do anything real fancy here. You just kind of did the basics. And he looked at me and he said, yeah, it's the first move you learn in basketball, but often people just don't practice it. Fellow Toastmasters, potential Toastmasters, and guests. In the game of basketball, the layup is a foundational skill that can lead to success, but is rarely practiced. I want to submit to you that in the game of your professional life, communication is a foundational skill that is very basic, but often never practiced. Now, as you saw in the layup, there are 3 parts to it, and we're going to talk about how there is a synergy between the layup and Toastmasters. We're going to talk specifically about foundational communication skills and how Toastmasters teaches it to you through the parts of the meeting. So in a layup, there are 3 parts: the drive, the dribble, and then the letting go of the ball. And similarly, in Toastmasters, there are 3 parts to a meeting. There are prepared speaking, impromptu speaking, and feedback. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what those are because you're about to see that today. What I'm going to tell you is why I found that these 3 parts are important to communication. So the first, prepared speaking. We all know what this is. We see it every day, whether it's politicians, whether it's in our company, whether it's having a family setting and having someone say something. There is a prepared speech. You've already did it ahead of time, and you're going to deliver it. It's probably the reason most people come to Toastmasters, and for good reason. By practicing prepared speaking, you're practicing several skills that you would never get a chance to practice by just giving the speech. The first, confidence. Through repetition comes confidence. It's inevitable that by practicing over and over again, you know exactly how you're going to say it, how you're going to deliver it, and how to structure your message. Next, cohesion. I told you there were 3 parts to a layup, right? If I gave you those on a piece of paper and told you to go to a basketball court and do it, you could probably do it, but it wouldn't be very cohesive. Through practicing prepared speeches, you get a chance to structure a cohesive message. The flow of the message becomes much more clear and much more elegant, if you will, by practicing over and over again. Finally, by practicing prepared speaking, you get to practice clarity. The other day I saw a movie, I think it was called Tenet. It was over 2.5 hours long. When I saw that movie, the first thing I thought was, this guy didn't know how to cut. And in Toastmasters, when you do prepared speaking, the number one thing you have to practice, due to timing, due to clarity of message, is the ability to cut your own material. That's so difficult, but so necessary. By practicing prepared speaking, you get a sixth sense for what you should cut and how to structure your message so that your audience understands it. So if that's prepared speaking, what's the second part? Well, it is impromptu speaking, something we will get a chance to practice today. What do I say about impromptu speaking? Well, if you were a boxer or in any sport really, and you practiced, practice isn't the same without pressure. And in impromptu speaking, because you have the element of timing, you only have 1 to 2 minutes, you don't necessarily know what you're going to be talking about, you're adding the element of pressure to the skills you've already learned in delivering material. That's the beauty of impromptu speaking. Finally, the last section, maybe even the most valuable section, is feedback. So whether you're talking to your spouse or partner, whether you're talking to a colleague or coworker, or whether you're just talking across the fence at a neighbor, feedback is an art. And it's an art you learn here at Toastmasters. At my own company, I lead a session with any new hire at a certain level about how to give feedback to colleagues. And we hired this very fancy consultant, and they had this great PowerPoint presentation and material and things to learn off. And I took all this stuff down and I was like, this is basically just giving an evaluation at Toastmasters. You learn how to frame your constructive feedback so that they get a lot of positive, but also something to work on at the end of it. The goal of Toastmasters feedback is not just to say, hey, this is what you did wrong. It's to make sure that you understand that you have all these great skills, and if you just improve this one thing, your speech, your presentation will get that much better. So we talked about the 3 parts of a Toastmasters meeting: prepared speaking, impromptu speaking, and feedback. We talked about how it adds confidence, clarity, and cohesion to your speaking. The element of pressure makes you get better, and by practicing feedback, you become a better speaker and a better manager overall. Now, communication isn't something that's always practiced. Often when we give presentations, I guarantee you the first time you're going to be practicing it is when you're giving it. And that may be the wrong way to go, because as my best friend proved, practicing foundational skills is the way to win games. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you for that outstanding speech, Sanka. It was excellent and we really appreciate it. And I got a whole lot out of it, as I'm sure everyone else did as well. So that was our prepared speech. And as I mentioned earlier, Sanka has an evaluator that took an evaluation of his speech, and she will give her evaluation once we get to that portion of the meeting. So at this time, we are on to the fun part of our meeting, and that is our impromptu speaking, our table topics session. And today, our table topics master is none other than Jenny Gensler-White, Distinguished Toastmaster. And she is here with us today. And at this time, I would like to yield the floor to Jenny to conduct our table topics session. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you so much. Before I begin, can I ask if you guys are hearing a clicking sound coming from me?
I am.
Okay, I will put on my headphones then, and then I will commence. Can everybody hear me? Is cicadas are running rampant in the DC area. Do you love them, hate them, or are you indifferent to them? I'm going to ask our grammarian, Regina Curry.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Cicadas, this year I think I'm indifferent to them because I don't really hear them a lot because I'm housebound. And I have directed everyone to keep all the windows and doors closed, so I don't really hear them. There's a slight buzz, but I don't really know what it is. Sometimes I have to remind myself, oh, that's what the cicadas sound like. And I think I'm just really indifferent. They're not bothering me as much as they would have if I were going outside all day long, say if to wait for the bus or to walk around at lunch. Sometimes I don't see them, I don't hear them. So for me, they're not an issue.
Thank you. My second question, outdoor swimming pools are scheduled to open this weekend. Are you planning to jump in? And in this case, I will ask for a volunteer. If you want to, first of all, I'm going to call on Shauna to answer that question. So Shauna, if you could unmute yourself.
Absolutely. So I am not ready for any type of pool activity, and mainly that's because I can't swim. So I would not get as much enjoyment as a lot of my family members and friends who are going off to the beach this weekend, or spending some time at a resort. I am definitely the person who stands along the side in a safe place where I don't have to be rescued.
Thank you. Well, fortunately for you, the weather is supposed to be cool this weekend. So I'm not planning on jumping in either. Third question, now that COVID restrictions are easing, do you have any plans to go out of town this summer? And this time I will truly ask for a volunteer. Any volunteers? LaShawn?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I do plan on going out of town this summer. It has been so long since I've traveled, and while I'm a native Washingtonian and I love the DC, Maryland, and Virginia metropolitan area, and there's always something I can find to do, after being restricted to this area for almost 2 years, I am itching to get away and see the sights of other parts of this country. I would like to travel overseas. I really am saddened and disappointed that I was not able to go to Paris for our Toastmasters International Convention about a year ago. But it does not mean that I cannot travel to Paris on my own. So my heart is set on Paris. And if luck is with me in the coming months, I plan on taking a trip to Paris, whether it's Toastmasters related or not. But once I arrive, I will attempt to connect with my fellow Toastmasters in that country, even if it's just for some type of social event, if the COVID restrictions allow me to do so. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. The next question I am going to, first of all, let me explain a little bit about what Table Topics is. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where somebody asks you a question and you have to answer quickly and you've been stumped? An example might be a job interview. You're giving a presentation and you have a Q&A session. You're on a first date. You're meeting your significant other's parents for the first time. You are on the elevator and on steps in your CEO. Those are all situations, cocktail parties, all situations where you need to think and be able to answer off the cuff. The questions that I'm asking are not going to be particularly hard because Toastmasters is a comfortable environment for people to practice, for people to feel comfortable making mistakes and moving on and learning and growing. So with that, I'm going to call on volunteers who are not currently Toastmasters to answer the next question, which is, are you a beach, mountain, or city person? volunteer. Otherwise, I might end up calling on you. So you might want to volunteer to keep it under your control. Okay, I'm going to call on Kim Keating.
Hi, okay. So am I a beach, mountain, and what was the other option?
City
City.
for your
I
vacation.
am a 80% beach, 15% city, and 5% mountain, because I love the ocean and I love the calming, tranquil feeling that I experience when I'm near the ocean, and I can smell it and hear it. I don't even have to get in. And I love the city because I love the energy. And I like the mountains because they are beautiful, but I don't love the cold that often comes with being in them or near them. So but I still love the beauty. So that's why I gave it 5%.
Thank you. What country would you most like to visit once it is safe? And again, I'm going to call on Ramta Mishra.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Before I answer this question, there is something that I want to share with the audience today. You have asked for a volunteer who's not a Toastmaster, but I am a Toastmaster.
Oh, okay.
Flaunt all my badges that I have received so far. I've done all my speeches and I was best speaker in most of the speeches. And before I answer my question, I want to tell all my dear fellows and colleagues that Toastmaster has changed my life. I always thought that I was good with public speaking, but Toastmasters actually taught me that how much improvement I needed. So thank you, Toastmasters, as an organization. Coming to your question, I will like to go to India once the countries are safe. That's my home country. I can't say how terribly I'm missing my family these days. It's been 2 years that I've not gone and seen my family. So yeah, that's what I would like to do.
Okay, thank you. Another question that I have is, what is your least favorite aspect of summer? I'm going to call on civilization. No, I'm sorry, it's not civilization, it's civilization.
Hi, can you repeat the question?
What is your least favorite aspect of summer? Another way to phrase it is, what do you hate most about summer?
Oh, that's a pretty hard question because I do love the summer, but I think one thing that I would pick that I dislike about it is maybe the humidity here in Virginia. So if it's super hot where I'm like sweaty, no, thank you. So that's the one thing that I dislike. Other than that, I love summer.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask another question, which is going to call on Leon. What is your favorite thing about summer?
I'm sorry about that. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I would say that my favorite thing about summer is the weather, being able to travel, being able to go to the beach, being able to shop, being able to see friends and family, and also spend time walking the dog and experiencing just nature overall.
Okay, I have one more question. Tell me which is your favorite activity of the following four: skiing, swimming, running, or reading a book. And that is going to be for Marlies Macher Guzman.
Thank you, Jenny. I am a swimmer, so obviously swimming is my favorite sport. I have been swimming since the age of 2 and haven't stopped since. Unfortunately, during COVID, I had to, and I can't wait to jump into a swimming pool. And I look forward to doing that maybe in the fall.
Thank you so much. Yeah, all of you did a wonderful job and responding to my questions. And with that, I'm going to turn this back over to LaShawn.
Thank you, Jenny, for an awesome table topic session. And thank you to our guests for graciously joining in to make our table topics session more rich and interesting. So we are now at the stage in our meeting where we go into our evaluations portion of the meeting. And for that, we actually have a general evaluator. And today, our general evaluator is none other than our District 27 Director, Iris Taylor, Distinguished Toastmaster. And at this point, I will turn the meeting over to Iris. Iris, you have the floor.
Thank you for that, LaShawn. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You all seem like a quiet bunch. I don't know what it is. Thursday, only one more day left in the week. Come on, I love to see smiling faces, so you're welcome to turn your camera on. All right. Anyway, again, LaShawn said earlier, the purpose of the general evaluator is to evaluate everything in the meeting, give some feedback on certain points throughout the meeting. I also have a team that I will be calling on to give their reports at the end of after the evaluation portion of the speaker. The reason for taking on the role as the general evaluator, you can improve your critical thinking, your organizational, your time management skills, motivational skills, as well as team building skills. So this role, you're an active listener in this role. So please join in with me as I call on first our evaluator who will be evaluating the speaker that we had today, and that will be Beverly Byam Hercules. She will be evaluating Sanka's speech. So bear with me, and our evaluator speak for 2 to 3 minutes. Again, like LaShawn said, everything throughout the meeting is time, so that we don't go on and on and on and on and on. Okay, I better stop. Anyway, that's what the role of the timer is. All right, Miss Beverly.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and potential Toastmasters and guests. My job today was to evaluate Sanka's speech. Sanka, thank you so much for providing us an explanation of a term used that we hear all the time, but we may not necessarily know what it really means or really understand what it meant, the term layup. What I also like is how you compare the layup to communication in our workplace, skills that are essential for winning, but we seldom practice. I also like how you ended your presentation with reminding us that practicing these skills is the way to win a game, whether it is a sports game or the game of life or the game of our work or our career. Your voice was and very well prepared slides they took us along on this journey of comparing basketball practice and preparation for Toastmasters or preparation for life. You had those slides, they just told the story. They told the story, they had us going. You showed us the different steps for the layup, you showed us the different steps for practicing our speeches and making sure that we have clarity and cohesion in our speeches. It was really well presented. There's a couple of things that I would suggest for improvement. And one of them was prior to the session, I would suggest that you have the capabilities to share your screen so that you aren't asking for that at the point when you are actually getting ready to share. And then with regards to the slide sharing, I would suggest also that you put your material in presentation mode so that we aren't viewing your upcoming slides as well. I thought it was a very well done presentation, very well thought out. It really went into that comparison of Toastmasters and all of the benefits that people can receive from being a Toastmaster and practicing and building confidence. And I just love hearing you speak and looking forward to hearing one of those speeches again, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much for that, Beverly. Now I'll call on my team members for them to give a report, as they have been also actively listening throughout the meeting. And I'll start with, first and foremost, our timer. Bessie Johnson will give the timer's report.
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, potential Toastmasters, treasured guests, the timing for today's meeting is as follows. Our prepared speaker, Sonka, spoke for 6 minutes, 28 seconds. Our evaluator spoke for 2 minutes, 22 seconds. In terms of the responses we received for our impromptu speaking, Regina spoke for 51 seconds. Shauna spoke for 27 seconds. LaShawn spoke for 1 minute, 13 seconds. Kim, 45 seconds. Ramta, 1 minute, 22 seconds. Our next speaker for 21 seconds, the following speaker, 27. And our last speaker spoke for 36 seconds. That is my timing report.
Thank you, Ms. Bessie, for your report. Now for our grammarian report that will be done by Regina Curry.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. The grammarian report. Today, I think everyone did an excellent job of using the English language. Everything that I noticed was on point. The grammarian position is also one of listening skills. And I think I do a fairly good job. What I did notice were pauses and filler words in when people spoke. And I did not notice any use of the word of the day. No one planted a garden, even though we were talking about summer. But other than that, I think everyone did a good job of speaking the English language. The speaker was relaxed, his tone was casual. It was very easy to understand what people said. The language flowed, and I think there were no problems in understanding. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you for that, Regina. She's right. No one used the word of the day. I'm going to try to throw it in. I am not a gardener. See how easy it is? All right. Now it's time for me to give my report on the meeting as a whole. From the beginning, everyone, the meeting started a little bit late, but that is okay. We were waiting for folks to come in, and sometimes life happens, and that's okay. The guest and everyone was welcome. LaShawn did a wonderful job of introducing and talking about the program and what we will be discussing throughout the program today. As far as the table topics portion, yes, it was really good, and thank you all for participating, but it should have been reminded that you do need to speak for that 1 minute, because you speak up to that 1 minute. You can do it. I know you could. But anyway, that is one thing that I would like to give some feedback on. Always during our impromptu session, it is to speak up to the 1 minute, and the timing is 1 to 2 minutes. All in all, Speaker Sanka did a wonderful job in explaining the Toastmaster program in itself, as well as LaShawn. And thank you all for coming out this morning. I know you all have busy schedules because it is a work day. And other than that, I want to say this is the feedback portion for the general evaluator of the meeting. Great. One more other thing I would like to add is the evaluator did an excellent job. Thank you all again for having us here this morning. And now I will call back on our leader and Toastmaster today, LaShawn Foster.
Thank you so much, Iris, for that very good feedback. One of the things I really love and appreciate about Toastmasters International is that they give gentle feedback, but it is also constructive feedback to help us grow. They don't tell us what we need to hear, or we don't tell each other what we need to hear. We want to hear, we tell each other what we need to hear to constantly improve. And as a result, we produce some of the finest speakers and leaders in the world. So at this point in time, I am going to briefly go over our Pathways Education program, and I'm going to share my screen because this is the thing that really adds a lot of value to Toastmasters membership, especially for our corporate programs. You want to be able to at least equate this or link this to the jobs that you do. And we want you to see the return on investment that you can expect to receive if you do decide that Toastmasters is the organization for you. So I'm going to briefly share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Thank you. So this is our Pathways Education program. It is our Pathways learning experience. It's completely online. You have the opportunity via this program, and as a member of this program, it is all of Toastmasters, you are automatically guaranteed access to this. The first path will be free. Every additional path you would need to pay $20 for, but you have 24-hour a day, 7-day a week access to Pathways, and it is done at your own pace. You have the opportunity to build up 300 unique competencies. 11 specialized learning paths are at your disposal to choose from. Again, all of the content is online. There are real-world transferable skills, and they're available in almost every language in the world, specifically Arabic, English, French, German, Japanese, Portuguese, simplified Chinese, and Spanish and traditional Chinese, and Korean and Tamil. These are the path projects that you have to choose from. We have dynamic leadership, effective coaching, engaging humor, innovative planning, leadership development, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, strategic relationships, team collaboration, and visionary communication. For the sake of time, I am only going to choose one, and I will choose our leadership development path. And I'm going to go through it and just show you how a path through Pathways works. Every path in Pathways has 5 levels. The first 2 levels will be very similar no matter which path you choose. You will have your icebreaker, your evaluation and feedback, and your research and presenting. Your icebreaker is your very first initial speech you'll ever give as a Toastmaster. That is a 4 to 6 minute speech that you can prepare for, and you can speak on absolutely any topic that you like. Evaluation and feedback, is a project where you will give a speech. Again, it'll be a speech of your choosing for 5 to 7 minutes. You will get evaluation on that speech like Beverly gave to our speaker just a few minutes ago. The goal is to take that feedback, apply it to the same speech, and redo that speech, having incorporated the feedback. So that is that project. And the final project in level 1 is a research and presenting project. You will research a project of your topic of your choosing, and you will give a presentation similar to what Sanka did today on your research topic. The second path is managing time, understanding your leadership style, introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. When you get into the last 3 levels of any path, this is where it goes into subject matter. And that's the subject matter of the path that you've chosen. So for level 3, you will always have an elective project. They may be different for every path, but these are the elective projects you have to choose from. You need to choose at least 2 from this list of electives for this particular level. So any 2 you like, presentation software, language using descriptive language, understanding vocal variety. You can choose active listening, connect with storytelling, connect with your audience, and creating effective visual aids. For level 3 of this path, you have 1 elective that you need to choose from all of these electives presented here. The first one is building a social media presence, create a podcast, manage an online meeting. So this level of this path is very media, online, digital focused, social media focused. The last path, you also have electives to choose from. You only need to choose 1. But it's more about event planning, manage successful events, and reflect on your path. So you get to choose out of the electives listed here. The main one is ethical leadership, high performance leadership, leading in your volunteer organization, lessons learned, and how to moderate a panel. So you get to choose from one of those. Once you complete the elective for 5 and you get through all of the different levels, you have completed your first path, and you will have, beside your name, you will be awarded the name of that path and the initials for that path, and it will be a level 5. So let's say you completed the leadership development path, you will be a LD5. Every time you complete a level, you will be a LD1 for level 1. You'll get an award for LD2 for level 2, and so on. And so on, and so on. We will have people to instruct you and guide you through how to access this and how to sign up and enroll in your path. As soon as you initiate your membership, as soon as the club officially charters and becomes a club, if the organization chooses to do so, you will be immediately provided with guidance of a mentor for the program to guide you through how to use this program. It may seem a little bit overwhelming at first, but District 27 prides itself on providing full support to any new organization, any new program that establishes in our district. So fear not, we will always be here with you every step of the way to walk you through this and make sure that you get every advantage possible out of the Pathways Education Program. I believe Shauna Smith, I sent her some resources she may have shared with you about this program in detail. And immediately following this meeting, I will follow up with some additional resources as well so that you can look through it at your leisure. But before we ended, I did want to definitely just give you a quick overview of the Pathways program so that you could see how it is a tool that can help you not only become a better leader and better public speaker, but it can also help you in your current career path. I just wanted to stop because we have 5 more minutes and ask, did anyone have any questions before we adjourn? All right, I don't see any questions. So in terms of next steps, if you have any additional questions that you could not think of at this time, Please reach out to Shauna Smith. She is your sponsor for this club, should it decide for this program, should it decide to charter. And she is a great resource for any additional questions you have. She has my direct contact information. So if there is some resources that she does not immediately have access to, rest assured, I will be more than happy to provide her with access to those resources and answer any questions that come up at the conclusion of the demonstration meeting. I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to meet with us today. We know that you are busy and your time is precious. We really appreciate you, and it was our honor to spend this hour with you today to give this demonstration meeting. And at this time, Iris, did you have any other comments before we adjourn?
No, I just want to say I look forward in working with you all. I know at Toastmasters, you can receive a lot of benefits. So I will be looking for the day to welcome you aboard.
All right.
Thank you.
And to our fellow Toastmasters that may be in the audience, I think we at least had one person that is a current member of Toastmasters. Thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to working with you and seeing more of you as well. Everyone take care and enjoy the rest of your day. The meeting is adjourned.